We have some breaking news right now in a case that NBC4 Investigates has been following for the past 7 months. Indie singer David has just been arrested in connection with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas.
They finally locked up singer David for the murder situation involving Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This is really David we're talking about here. LAPD confirms they arrested David in relation to the passing of Celeste, whose remains turned up inside the front storage of a Tesla that belonged to the artist. Took them forever, literally months and months. A BC News got word from their people that this whole arrest came from evidence they put together and probable cause. But here's the thing, it ain't an indictment yet. LAPD saying they're bringing everything to the LA District Attorney Monday to see if they'll actually file. Technically speaking, he's not officially indicted at this point. Now, Steve Fisher, this private investigator who's been all over this case since jump, got hired by whoever owns the property David was renting, same spot where they discovered that Tesla with the body near it. Earlier that day, before anyone knew about the arrest, he dropped this tweet: "It's been 7 months since they found Celeste Rivas Hernandez in that condition in David's Tesla trunk, and we still got no charges filed, no press conference, no real answers from anybody." LAPD even put out their own statement saying maybe there's no criminal responsibility past just hiding a body. Straight cap, hiding a body in California, that's just a misdemeanor charge. But what they did to those remains, that's a felony.
We are following major breaking news tonight. Singer David has been arrested in connection to the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, according to the LAPD.
The DA's own legal documents prove the body was handled improperly and put in different bags. That's not hiding nothing. They understood that from the very beginning. They fed us lies. Check what their first statement said. September 29th, 2025, Robbery Homicide Division. They claimed they'd been investigating thoroughly. The car sat parked at that location and got towed after several weeks. So Celeste Rivas Hernandez potentially died several weeks prior. Turns out she'd actually been dead for months upon months. The medical examiner hadn't figured out cause or manner of death yet. Because of that, they said it's uncertain if there's criminal responsibility beyond concealing her body. Complete lies, absolutely fabricated, and they were aware of it too. The condition of the remains made it clear what happened. They knew that from the start. Honestly, I was expecting them to grab him way sooner. It was pretty clear to me from the beginning that investigators probably didn't have that one piece of undeniable evidence. You know what I'm saying? No DNA connecting anyone directly, no fingerprints showing up on those bags they recovered from the front storage area.
Your breaking news right here at 5:30. You might recognize this picture. That's singer David. The LAPD just announced that they have arrested him for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The 21-year-old singer, whose real name is David Burke, has been at the center of the investigation since her body was found in a Tesla last September. Police say David's being held without bail.
They didn't have that slam dunk proof showing somebody physically made contact with her, no video evidence capturing anyone in the act of anything specific. But here's what we do know. The body ended up in his vehicle, so when you really think about it, how is it even possible he ain't involved somehow? That connection alone is wild. A lot of people have been complaining about how long this took, saying it's been too much time, but real talk, that's actually just how these investigations usually go down. People watch too many crime shows and think everything gets wrapped up in 48 hours. They see detectives on TV solving cases before the first commercial break and assume that's reality. The truth is way different. Building a solid case that'll actually hold up in court takes serious time and effort. Prosecutors don't want to rush in with weak evidence just to satisfy public pressure, because if they mess it up, that's it. You can't retry someone for the same thing twice. The district attorney's office has got to be absolutely certain they can prove everything beyond reasonable doubt before they file charges. That's a high bar to clear. They're probably looking at circumstantial evidence, putting together timelines, interviewing witnesses multiple times, running forensic tests that take weeks or months to come back from the lab, all that background work the public never sees. And think about it from the legal side. Defense attorneys will tear apart anything that's rushed or sloppy. They'll find every single hole in the investigation and exploit it. So law enforcement has to build their case brick by brick, making sure each piece fits perfectly before moving to the next one. That process just takes time, no matter how obvious things might seem from the outside looking in.
Breaking news: an arrest in the case of Celeste Rivas, the teen girl found in the trunk of a rapper's car.
And assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk working the story. You've got late information from LAPD, Mike?
Yeah, all of this still coming in here to the newsroom and to the desk. But what we can tell you right now is that the rapper David, whose name is David Burke, has been arrested for the murder of Celeste Rivas. That's according to the Los Angeles Police Department. There is Celeste Rivas. You remember, this is a case that has grabbed headlines and we've been covering for several months now. Rivas's body was found in the back of a Tesla at this Hollywood tow yard. The car was registered to David, the rapper here, and the car was ultimately found out front of his Hollywood Hills home.
The whole situation with that initial press release, though, that's what really got people heated. When authorities come out and suggest maybe there's nothing beyond a misdemeanor, then months later make an arrest, it creates this massive trust issue with the community. People start wondering what else they're not being told, what other information got withheld or presented in a misleading way. So they finally brought in singer David on charges related to Celeste Rivas Hernandez's death. This is the same David everyone's been talking about. LAPD dropped the announcement. They got him in custody for his alleged connection to the death of a teenager whose remains showed up in the front trunk of a Tesla registered under his name. The wait has been absolutely ridiculous. Month after month pass. He's sitting in jail with no bond option right now. The arrest came through after all this time. Word from ABC news sources is they built up enough evidence and established probable cause to make the move. Keep in mind, this is an arrest on murder allegations, not a formal indictment yet. Authorities plan on taking the whole case package to the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office this coming Monday to see about filing actual charges. There's been some movement after months of silence. The public has been completely confused about why LAPD needed forever to make something happen. The discovery went down mid-September. We're now sitting in mid-April. 7 months for an arrest on something this serious. Everything got uncovered back in September 2025 when David was traveling around performing, and he straight up axed the rest of his scheduled performances and went ghost from the public eye soon as the investigation into the death started moving. People in law enforcement that we've heard from mentioned LAPD considered David a person of interest pretty much from the jump. Come November, they assembled a grand jury with LA County Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman running point on presenting everything. The memorial service for Celeste took place October 6th at Queen of Heaven Cemetery and Mortuary in Rowland Heights, California. Her loved ones and family members came together there to honor her memory and have their moment of goodbye, but the legal process is now in motion. That Tesla belonging to David had been sitting up in the Hollywood Hills area untouched for multiple days before it eventually got hauled to an impound facility in Hollywood on September 5th. September 8th is when cops made the discovery after receiving various complaints about an awful odor emanating from the car. We're talking 7+ months ago at this point. The remains were in serious condition from being left in the car for so long. Celeste Rivas Hernandez had on black leggings paired with a tube top along with 2 jewelry items. David's future isn't looking bright considering where this case is headed.
Well, Mark and Michelle, sources are telling us that this is based off of evidence that the LAPD was able to gather and put together and now is going to be presenting to the LA County DA for a filing decision on Monday. This was not from any kind of indictment. We know that the case had gone to a grand jury. It was expected that there might be an indictment coming sometime soon. We were thinking in the last couple of months or in the next few weeks.
Police haven't come out and revealed who was behind the wheel of that Tesla before it turned up abandoned and got impounded, and nobody ever reported the vehicle as stolen either. The mother of the victim made statements saying her daughter vanished back in April 2024 and was involved with somebody named David during that period. His complete legal name is David Anthony Burke, and his situation looks extremely dire right now. When you really break down the timeline on this whole thing, it's genuinely wild. Someone disappeared more than a full year before their remains even got found. An entire 12 months where this family existed in limbo, stuck between hope and despair with absolutely zero answers coming their way. Waking up every single morning wondering if there would be some kind of information. The psychological toll that takes on people is unimaginable. The vehicle sitting there for days before anyone properly investigated it brings up a lot of concerns about protocol and procedure. How do cases like this slip through the cracks? When do authorities decide something requires immediate attention versus putting it on the back burner? These are legitimate questions that communities deserve answers to, especially when we're talking about young people who go missing. Building out this investigation had to involve so many moving parts. Prosecutors and detectives can't just rush in because the public wants action. They need everything airtight: phone records, location data, witness testimonies, forensic evidence that takes weeks or months to process through labs. Each piece has to connect logically to build a narrative that holds up under scrutiny in court. Defense teams will attack every single weakness they can identify, so the case needs to be rock solid before charges even get filed.
The medical examiner still has not determined a cause and manner of death. Burke is currently being held without bail. For more now, we turn to our Jacqueline Lee in Los Angeles. Jacqueline, why did it take so long to take Burke into custody?
Lindsay, it was months of investigators compiling evidence. Now, sources say the arrest was based off of evidence and probable cause. Investigators telling ABC News they can prove this was murder. And this was the biggest hurdle for the medical examiner.
The legal process moves at its own pace regardless of how obvious things might appear from an outside perspective. There's gathering evidence, verifying evidence, making sure chain of custody stays intact, interviewing potential witnesses multiple times to check for consistency. All that background work happening while the public demands immediate justice and answers. What makes this particular case stand out is how long the family had to wait without knowing what happened. Missing person cases that drag on create this horrible uncertainty that affects everyone involved: parents, siblings, friends, extended family. Every holiday that passes, every birthday, every milestone becomes this painful reminder of absence and unanswered questions. The investigation probably had detectives working backwards from the discovery, trying to establish timelines and movements. Where was the vehicle before it ended up abandoned? Who had access to it? What does the digital trail show? Modern investigations rely heavily on technology: GPS data, cell tower pings, social media activity, financial transactions. All these digital breadcrumbs can help reconstruct what happened, but analyzing all that information takes substantial time and resources. Grand juries exist specifically to determine if there's enough evidence to formally charge someone with a crime. Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman, presenting to a grand jury in November, suggests they were already building towards potential charges months ago. These proceedings happen behind closed doors, so the public doesn't see all the work going into building a prosecutable case.